Welcome back to the Pipe and Tobacco Talk podcast. It's episode 28, and we are action-packed tonight. Tim, it's time for you to read the MBSDpipes.com Prop 69 warning label.
All right, you have a choice. I can read it with a lateral lisp or with a whistling S. Which do you prefer?
Oh, I want to hear the lisp, so give it to us, Tim, in a lisp.
Here we go. This podcast will expose the listener to offensive, insensitive, off-putting, and otherwise socially unacceptable content known to the state of California cause cancer. To avoid injury, sponsors of the podcast suggest you grow a pair.
Not away, Tim.
What do you think? What do you think?
Mitchell and Sarah would be so proud of us. Another win for us.
Well done.
And so before we get to our two guests, we do have a little house, well, whatever it is, something. We're going to talk about something else first.
Yeah.
So we do have a new contest coming up that Mitchell and Sarah, and there'll be three winners to the contest. There's a $100 first prize, a $50 second prize, and a $25 third prize. And you get a $100 store credit, a $50 store credit, or a $25 store credit. And Tim, we both agreed that this contest will be the best autocorrects, or what was the other thing? It was autocorrect and something else, Tim. Work with me here.
I'm trying to remember. It was like ruined autocorrects. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you send somebody a message and it autocorrects to something that you wish the hell that you can't pull the text back.
Yeah. I just want autocorrect to know that I've never typed the word duck into my phone ever for any reason. But I thank you for thinking that I'm a member of Ducks Unlimited, because every time you autocorrect me to duck. No, that's just wrong. And I cannot wait to see the responses for that, but we'll talk about that more at the end of the episode. Coming up next week, Dr. Alan Harrelson from the Pipe Cottage is going to be on with us. The week after, we're going to get Mike Murphy from Pipe and Tamper, and they just put out a new episode yesterday, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Ryan McCauley from Smoke and Barrel Briars, Rob Dickey from R. Dickey Pipes, Jack Ryan at Jack Ryan Pipes, Corey Brown at ABBS Pipes, Stacy Maharin from Maharin Bespoke Works. Yes, English is my first language, believe it or not. Simon from LCS Briars will be on with us. Mark Berg Handworked Pipes, Neil Monet, Garage Made Pipe Tools, Mark Dominguez, Lone Star Briars, and Ian Fisher from Fisher Pipes is who we have. And we do need to reschedule Reed Robertson, and hopefully he is upgraded from a track phone to get on the internet with us. So.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's the other one. Describe the shittiest piece of shit car you've ever owned. Is that one?
Well, I don't recall that one being the other half of the thing. Maybe. Are you scrolling through
Worst
your phone?
Valentine? Yeah, worst Valentine. Life's a shit. Times are hard. Here's your fucking Valentine card.
Oh.
No?
Man. We're going to have a tough time.
Or the worst auto-corrected text sent ever. So I think that was the one that we decided that would probably be pretty good.
Yeah, I think we'll go with that one. Autocorrect.
All right.
Your best autocorrect. You know. I think that'll be killer. So, anyway, joining us tonight to talk about his 5 favorite pipes is Todd Sanzini. How are you, Todd? Welcome to the show.
Hi, gentlemen. Thanks so much for having me. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. How you doing, Todd?
I'm well. Tim, it's such a pleasure. Actually, it's a pleasure to talk to both of you guys. And Kevin, I don't know that we've ever been acquainted online or otherwise. So nice to meet you, sir.
You as well.
Salute. These two guys I know. I've had their product, used their product, listen to their charming, soothing, dulcet tones on on the pod web thing before, but
Sounds good. Dulcet tones, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's confused Tim with pipe and
That's
tamper.
me.
But it's okay. Just, it wasn't over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor either, so let's just roll with it.
Germans? He's on a roll. Go with
Russians.
it.
I mean Russian.
Damn it, 7 years of college down the drain.
Hey guys, what am I?
I'm a zit.
I'm a zit.
Yeah, you got that one down good, man.
Yeah, yes, you do. Well done, Todd.
That was it.
Thank you.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't seen Animal House, I'm sorry, you're not going to get it. We're just going to go on with the show.
Shame on you. Shame
Yeah.
on you first. Shame on you.
That's right. So, Todd, tell us about your 5 favorite pipes.
First, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Should I have known this was going to be the topic of conversation? Because if I should have known, I don't know. Otherwise, see, if I had walked in knowing this, and again, it's probably my fault, and that's fine. I'll own it. But I would have bought props. I would have had them. First of all,
Well,
thought about, and second of all, I could have had them here, and I could have shown them. I could have Van Whited the pipes, but
This is no. You're like right spot on. This is how we do it here.
all right, that's fine.
You know, so
Listen.
many shows say, "Oh, we're unscripted." No, bullshit. We are.
I need to have a drink first. Can I pour myself a drink? I just grabbed
Sure.
the bottle while this
please
was
do.
loading, but I hadn't yet poured, so
No,
I'm
you're
gonna need a
fine.
double for this. Oh my god! All right, here we
You know,
go.
and really, we need to have Todd on for his own episode just for fun. So, Todd,
Yeah.
May 19th, you're coming on the show, and we're going to do a show just with you, and you can talk
Okay.
about anything you want in the pipe community. So,
Terrific. I'll write up a script.
oh, don't do
Come
that.
prepared.
No, don't do that.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Well, you'd be the only one. There you go.
What are we drinking? Let's talk about that real quick. What do we have here? What's going on?
Iced tea.
Iced tea. Okay.
Yep, because we are in Lent, and Tim and I are both Catholics, and I gave
Oh.
up any form
Sparkling
of
water.
really sparkling water.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's all I had.
All right, and I gave
I'm a
up
recovering Catholic, so I gave up. I gave up water.
Attaboy.
So this is all I can. This is all I can drink.
Yeah,
There you go.
Kevin, what do you got? What do you got there? You got a little sniffer going on. What do you?
Yeah. Calf strength red breast. I'm picking up the slack apparently.
Okay.
Wow. So I gave up
Well,
And
alcohol.
what's in your glass, Todd?
That is. I'll hold it up again for the viewers that may have missed it. This is Glenmorangie La Santa.
Ooh,
Very nice.
that's the one that's.
Jim, I think you and I bonded over this one once before. I think
Isn't that the one that's
I think-
red wine cask finished?
sherry cask.
Sherry cask.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Very
Cheers. I
nice.
love it.
Yep. Yeah, because I have 2 bottles of Redbreast sitting right behind me, waiting for Easter. Because we'll be home from church after Easter, and we will be 3 fingers in a bathtub deep.
Nice. I see. If this was summertime and I could use the sunshine as the impetus of my joke, I would say I had 2 red breasts waiting for me in the other room. Hi-yo,
Oh!
hi-yo.
We'd like to thank the YouTube censors for never ever watching or listening to our show. Thank you all so much.
I said breasts. I didn't say titties or something.
No. You wouldn't. Well, you wouldn't say that.
I'm just saying what I wouldn't say. Just
Right.
just as
That's right.
a poor exemplar.
The T word.
So anyway, what was your question again?
Well, that was a long time
Tell
ago.
us
I don't know.
your 5 best pipes.
Okay,
What are your 5 best pipes? You don't have to
5.
show us.
I could. They're right back there, but
Well,
but
grab
that's all right.
them.
I'm
Well,
not going
no,
to
go
run
grab
back
them.
and forth. That would be ridiculous.
Well, that's all right. Just
Yeah?
go
You want me to
grab
grab
5.
one?
Yeah, go grab
Oh
5.
yeah, ridiculous is what we're all about here.
There's
Go ahead.
no rhyme or reason to what we're doing. We're good. And this is. And there he goes. I didn't know he was leaving the room.
See, we can't do that because we're not wearing pants.
Yeah, exactly. And then today's episode is sponsored by Pornhub. Pornhub, where someone's going to get the bobbing white ass award, and it's going to be me if I stand up.
What was that?
I said we can't do that. Walk away because neither of us are wearing pants.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, damn,
Very good.
I can't lie and say that I'm not either, but you saw my pants. All right, so here, pipe number 1.
Yes.
And I'm going to kiss a little ass for just a second, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is a PapaBear's brandy. This was a little request of mine to have. Well, actually, I didn't give much of a request on this one. Tim just knocked it out of the park with a little bit of information I gave him as far as what I wanted. And I love this sucker. This is just got some nice grain to it, and it's got some pretty accent, and the shape of the stem. I love that stem. I love it. I love it. I love it. And
Well, God bless you. Consider the ass nicely kissed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll do it again later if you like. No cameras involved with that though.
No, we're good. It's a podcast. This will never see YouTube. We're good.
But this is great. This is I love my Virginias and my Vapors, and I'm a bit of a wimp, maybe, I don't know, but for whatever reason I've migrated towards filters, and this is he was kind enough to do a 9mm for me, and this is a lovely smoking 9mm for my warmer smoking Virginias. I love this pipe.
Wonderful.
Cool.
One down.
Cool.
I only brought 3,
One
so I'm
down.
going to make up the last 2. But here's number 2. This is from Frank Thunder Pipes.
Ooh. And that's like a
And,
squat tomato?
I guess it's a kind of a Rhodesian. It's got the
Yeah, it looks like a little
squat
Rhodesian, maybe.
Rhodesian.
Yeah.
Nice and
Yeah,
wide. Look at that sucker.
Oh,
He
yeah.
got his thunder rustication going on around all over the pipe. The stem was something I think his wife made, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but the stem is nice hand poured acrylic. It's also a 9mm, and if I'm not mistaken, this was the first 9mm he made specifically for me, and I'm forever grateful he decided to try it out. And I'll give you a little story about this pipe too. So, and this speaks not only to my deep appreciation, but just generally the goodness of the pipe community, right? And Frank in particular, who I don't know who knows and who doesn't. I don't even know the whole story, but he's having a rough time. And so I'm real grateful that he was able to do this pipe for me. And he said, "Listen, I want to test out my my 9mm tools. I'm going to send you a pipe," and he did. He said, "I want you to test it out. Let me know how it smokes, and then we'll go from there." You know, and he ended up gifting it to me.
Oh, wow.
This was a Christmas present from Frank.
Very cool.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting it, but I said, "What do you want for it?" He said, "Merry Christmas." So I love this pipe, and it smoked great, and it has special meaning for me. So there's
Oh,
that.
wow. That's nice.
Yeah. And my number 3 that I picked out is another craft pipe maker. This is, and I'm going to say it wrong, Pavel. Shoot, I cannot remember his last name. Ecclesias or something like that. Help me out here, guys. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I also don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I know
do.
who you're
Yeah.
talking about, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
this
one of
is
those names that's got like 7 consonants and then 4 vowels, and then you kind of
something like that. I butcher it if I try to even say it in my head, so I try not to say it or think it. But this is just a nice smoking Lavat that he didn't make this one for me. He just had it, and I loved it, and so I grabbed it and love it. Simple and sweet, and very cool stem work on that one too.
Oh, very nice.
Nice colors. Not that I'm
Yeah.
jonesing for a fancy stem or anything like that, but these 3 all happen to be great stems. So yeah,
Oh, wonderful.
there's my top 3.
Very
Oh, there
nice.
you go.
Nice.
All right, I'll
Excellent.
leave it there.
All right. Excellent.
Well, very good. Yeah.
Spectacular pipes. And we apologize to Pavel for nobody being able to pronounce his name, but
Yeah,
American.
sorry, buddy. I appreciate your pipe. I love them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So before we get to our interview with Kevin, we are going to talk. Tim has been making some spectacular reverse calabashes that we're going to talk about today. Do you have one to show us, Tim? You've been posting them all over everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
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 That way. Very nice.
There's one there.
Yeah, and I've got a couple of new custom blends that I'm going to show off, so life's good, and we'll do that after. Yeah, and Todd, if you want to stick around and hang out with us, and you're more than welcome to.
Love to.
All right, great.
Yeah.
It's more fun this way. So, Kevin.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Kevin from Foster Handmade Pipes, absolutely spectacular artisan, and we're going to talk about this right off the bat. We saw the pictures, you hanging out with Stefan Cashwell at Nate King's Pipe Shop. Tell us what it was like to work with Nate for a week.
Oh, it's just fantastic. So this is actually my second trip up to Nate's shop. I did one by myself back in the summertime, and he's just got this great balance of. Obviously, he's a world-class pipe maker, so learning from him is fantastic, but he's got this great sense of balance of like, hey, we've been in the shop long enough, let's just go do something else to just have fun and relax or whatever. And it's just, it's such a great, he's the best. Yeah, so this time, I went out and worked 3 days with him in the summertime, and then this trip was also 3 days, but we drove, because Stefan lives like 10 minutes from me. So I picked him up, we road tripped all the way up to Indiana, had a fantastic time in the car, and so we came up on a Monday, spent Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the shop, and drove home Friday morning.
Oh, very nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
That sounds like a
Time
blast.
well spent. Huh?
Now, did you make a couple of pipes where you were there that you can show us?
So we did. Yes, we did. And this is one of the greatest honors of this particular trip. So we started out making 2 pipes, and then I kind of ended up doing more input on one, and Stefan ended up doing kind of more input on the other. And Nate honored us by, these are going to be collaborations. So I just got them both back in. Nate finished them up for us, and he stamped his stamp. So now I've got to give this one to Stefan. He's going to put his stamp on that, and I'm going to put my stamp on this one.
Ooh.
And, yeah, just fantastic work. So much fun working with him, and it's such a privilege to be able to have a collab out in the world with the great Nate King.
Oh, that must have been a blast.
Yeah. Yeah, we learned a lot on it. So, yeah, my thing was I wanted him to show me how he does his faux army mounts in bamboo. Again, this probably isn't going to show up on the video, but there's a nice little brass ring in there. Just beautiful work. So, great times.
Excellent.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's ask you, how did you get to be a pipe carver? How did you decide, hey, you know what, I'm gonna make pipes?
I'm a COVID baby as far as that goes. I had a lot of time with the lockdown and everything. More, professionally, my day job is I'm an airline pilot, so I didn't work for solid 2 years during that period, so I had a lot of time at home. Got back into pipe smoking, read a couple books, got really deep into. I found a community wood shop in my area that's about a 10-minute drive away, so they had a couple lathes. And I just figured, what the heck, let's try this out. It started out that I bought a couple, pre-drilled kit pipes, made those at home. The first pipe that I actually drilled and shaped fully by myself on the lathe was in August of 21, I believe. And so that's when, that was pipe number 1, how I number mine. I think I'm working on like 120 right now.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, what pipe number is this one? And I'm showing off my...
It's probably like 30. If you flip it over and you have a microscope, inside of my logo, it's the tail of an airplane is like the design, and it is stamped with the number, but it's really hard to read.
32.
32. There we go.
And who was your first
it seems
Instagram
like
sale?
That would be you, sir.
Nah, no way.
That would be
Seems like
you.
a lot of pipe carvers came online in that 2021 time range.
There really was, yes. I believe Stefan was also right in that time range as well.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. Didn't Aaron McGee pop into this in COVID as well, from Carolina Cumberland?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's part of his story as well.
Yeah, idle hands are the devil's workshop, and look at you guys making.
That's right. That's right.
Excellent. And I have to show this pipe off because one, it's absolutely spectacular. This is the Instagram Pipe Makers Club from January, correct?
Yeah, January, because December was snow, so that was January.
Yeah, and this is pipe number 11, unpronounceable symbol.
Yes, stamping is still a skill I've yet to master.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show this off one more time, so if you're watching at home or you're listening, Adam at Get Piped really wanted this pipe. And it's here in Parker, Colorado.
He really
He's
did.
like, I want to get that pipe. I want to get that pipe. And then I guess he called you and said, I want this pipe. And he says, yeah, it's already sold. No.
Yeah,
he brought it up on
that's...
his 2 episodes ago on the podcast that he really wanted it, and I didn't have the heart to tell him that it came to Parker. So
that's right. That's right.
Now he knows.
yeah. So
you're back to work in the airline.
I am, but the way I bid my schedule, I also have 2 little kids at home, so I bid my schedule to be at home the maximum possible, and I do pretty well with that. So I end up with, my wife also works, so we drop the kids off at daycare in the morning. I come out in the shop. That's when I get my shop time in.
Gotcha.
And then
Are they
pick them up.
COVID kids too?
They are. I wouldn't say so. The first one, my oldest, was born in January of 19, so that was like just before. Because right when we were finding out about the
prepping for COVID, baby. Yes. We're going to be spending a lot of time alone together, honey. Do you want to make pipes?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Come on with me then.
Yeah.
Excellent. And how old are the kids now?
They're 2 and 4.
All right. So they're just not quite ready to come help you out in the shop yet, huh, Dad?
Yeah, I just moved my shop from the tiny corner of the garage down into the basement here, and I just gave them a little tour of the shop, so we'll see.
Right.
Not quite yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with letting a 4-year-old work a lathe.
Yeah, no, nothing at all. Actually, that was one thing. My wife was like, hey, there's a bunch of like really sharp stuff that those 2-year-old can start reaching on your bench. And I'm like, I wonder what we should do about that. And she mentioned the basement, so I just did it before she could change her mind.
Yeah, say no more, dear.
Yeah, it's kind of where I've wanted it to be.
Vapor trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a little corner of the toy market that hasn't been tapped yet. Get a little play school lathe.
Yeah.
Woodworking shop.
Yeah,
that's true.
Exactly. Oh, look, honey, I got the kids nail guns for Christmas this year. That'll be fun.
So Kevin, your the pipes that you post are on Instagram are beautiful, and
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, like, what when you're going to make a pipe, how do you get inspired to make a pipe?
It depends, really. There's not really just one way. Sometimes it'll be a block that I've just been looking at in my bin for a long time and just thinking, I don't know what I can do with this, and I'll just pick up that block and just say, I want to make something with this. Other times, commission specifically, it's like, I want a Dublin. Well, that's not a great example because almost any block can be a Dublin, but you know what I mean. So when you're picking out something specific, it just depends, really.
Now, do you have a favorite shape that you like to make, or one that really resonates with you more than the others?
Not particularly. I've been mostly sticking to classic shapes up until this point, and only recently, in the last few months, really started branching into the shape first, drill second. But I mean, I love a Lavatt, I love a Billiard, I love a Dublin, I love a Brandy. But I'm really starting to like the more Danish style, the freehand shaping also. So we'll see where that goes. I like them both. It's fun. I don't really see myself ever having a shape that I make 50 of in a row. You know, it's because I'm doing this for fun primarily. So it's whatever I kind of feel like doing on any given day.
I saw the one that in here. It looks like an ant's, and was that the one that you had giraffe?
Oh yeah,
giraffe bone or something.
Yeah, that was my most recent commission. Actually,
where the
last
hell do
year,
you find giraffe bone?
So this was cool. So last year at Muletown was the first show that I was selling pipes at, and Grant Batson happened to be there, and I bought a pipe from him because I hadn't met him yet, and it had this crazy looking accent on it, and so I'm like, hey, what is this stuff? And he just goes, it's giraffe bone, and that's kind of like, come again?
This just in, the local zoo is missing a giraffe.
No,
Details at 11.
So what it is, and what I came to find out is that it's sold as a knife.
Just the
scale.
leg.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Three-legged
It's
giraffe.
sold as a knife
angry.
scale, and they're dyed and stabilized. So it's just
I see. Okay.
It's just a cool natural material.
Okay. All right.
I don't think that there's anything particularly about a giraffe that makes it, that much cooler or anything.
Well, I mean, the fact that it's giraffe makes it cool in itself.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So like all of my best ideas, it was stolen from somebody much better than me.
Is she here? I was going to say, you'll be seeing pipes with horse bone
Yeah. There
on
you go.
them.
There you go.
I'm looking for my wife, see if she could hear me. No, she's not in the house right now. Yeah, horse bone. That's
Yeah.
the next thing.
yeah,
There you
honey,
go.
I had to take Old Yeller out behind the garage.
Incidentally, Horsebone was my nickname in college.
Oh, there we go. Cool, classic white guy humor. I love it.
Oh, shit. That's funny.
The new big meat has entered the chat.
Right.
I don't know who that is, but all right.
Yeah, well, so, and
They call him horse bone.
come on, honey, let's go for a ride on Trigger.
Oh, wow.
Everybody's talking. They call him horse bone.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Tripod. We appreciate that.
Shit.
Yeah, and now my train of thought is completely derailed, and I'm pretty good with it at this point. Let it go
So
from there.
you're doing sandblasting? It looked like some of your pipes have a blast on
I do.
finish
Yeah,
them.
that's the last thing that I'm still doing at the community wood shop.
Okay.
It's kind of split off. Like they have a metalworking section, and most of it's woodworking, but there's a metalworking section. And they had just a Harbor Freight sandblast cabinet in there, and I donated a nicer cabinet to them recently. So because I don't think I could talk my wife into having a compressor adequate enough.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you do with a sandblast cabinet; they leak. And
Yeah.
That media and the dust gets everywhere. It's awful.
Yeah, so it's kind of a pain to have to drive it, and I switch out the media every time I use it, and that it gets to be a pain. But I think it'll still be there for the time being.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Tim and I both wanted to ask you. So, on the Instagram Pipe Makers Club, how did you do the metal work on this, and what type of metal did you use? So, I'm holding it up to the camera. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that there's a brass ring on the top of the bowl, and actually it's showing up very well on camera. And then there's a brass ring almost in the location that if it was going to be a Rhodesian. How did you do that? Tell us where that idea came from.
So Jay's prompt for that month it was a beautifully written prompt, but to sum it up, historical pipes, and then make a pipe that has either iron or copper. So the metal in there is actually copper. And it's all sheet, how I got into sheet of copper, and so like the two rings that are on the stem and the ring that's like around the bowl, those were basically like washers that I cut and glued in. Now the ring that goes around the rim was more like a wedding band. So I cut like a strip of sheet copper, bent it into circles, soldered it, got it on a ring mandrel round, and then then like the rim of the bowl has a shoulder cut into it. The washer's glued down on that, the ring down around that, and then another cap of briar.
Got it.
Sealing it all.
No.
Wow.
Well,
Ingeniously done.
indeed,
The way you put that together.
in addition
Yeah,
to being
thank you.
beautiful, it smokes incredibly well. Not to
So
rub it
that's
in
very, very experimental for me. So I'm going to be really interested to see how that copper, if it patinas and everything else, and how it all stays together. Obviously, I'm fully confident. It's just going to be interesting to see how it ages. You'll have to keep in touch and then let me know.
Did you go over to your neighbor's house and use his buffing wheel to buff it?
No, but I did. I had some old, like when I first started, I got some little like 3-inch wheels for like a Fordham, and I went back to using those for it.
Okay. Yeah. Then throw them away.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. So
That's very neat.
where do you see Foster Handmade going from here? What's on your radar? What do you have? You know, where do you plan on going? And what, like the wildest dream, where are you going with it?
You know, that's interesting because I have zero intention of quitting my day job. So it'll kind of continue to be this, at least until I retire or, God forbid, if I lose my medical license or something like that. It'll always just be a fun hobby, side gig. But, man, I really love it. And the kicker on this, I've always been a hobby guy. If I kind of look around here, I have this big home brewing beer setup that is also another passion for me. But the difference is the community that surrounds this. I mean, it's the most welcoming, supportive group of people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Are you going to Muletown, Kevin?
I am,
You're going?
Yep.
Okay, I'll see you there.
The next two, Muletown and then Chicago, is
okay.
like a month after that? Yeah. So I'll be at both of those shows.
All right.
Scott,
Are you going to get to go, Todd?
No, doubtful. When is Chicago? So I guess, what is that, April, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
April.
miss, I'm not in a position to do much traveling between now and the summer, really, so probably not. I miss the, when I first got into piping a few years ago, Richmond was still hosting a show, and that's real close by to me, so I made that one, but then it got canceled, and it hasn't come back, so anyway, I haven't been to a show in quite a while, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm
I've
just
never
thinking
been
how
to one.
great Muletown would be if Horsebone showed up.
I mean, if there were to be a show for that, it would be Muletown.
Ask around.
That's right.
Listen, I've been to Tennessee. Ask around. They might still know me there.
All right.
Particularly if you see a young lady walking funny.
There she is.
Hey, there's one.
If you yell Horsebone and she starts running, you know.
She starts galloping away. Yeah.
On this episode of Stepmom is Stuck in the Dryer, Todd Horsebone Zanzini will be here.
Hey, dear, quite a long face.
Animal husbandry, it's not just a major at Purdue anymore.
Wow. Wow.
I'm originally from Indiana, so any chance I get, I throw a little shade at Purdue. And they do. You can major in animal husbandry, as most of the fraternities can attest to.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking that the Boilermakers, the shot, the beer with you drop the shot in the beer.
Yeah.
That's a true Boilermaker. Not that sissy bullshit that they,
Yeah. Yeah.
Purdue
They
Boilermakers.
pretend to be.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Oh, by the way, about 20 minutes ago, I got a new email from Alan, but I haven't screened it. So next episode, Alan rides again. We're so excited. Man. That's Todd. So that's where Big Meat came from. Alan was an angry vegan that wrote me an email, and of course, I'm not a vegan, and never will be, and think there's something mentally wrong with vegans. If you're out there being a vegan, good on you. I'm happy for you. But
Just don't be a vegan. That's okay, but don't be an angry vegan. Who wants that in their lives?
They're all so much better than us, though. That's the thing,
Yeah,
when you're that good, you gotta.
And he called me, I believe it was a cisgendered white male big meat supporter. And a couple of people commented in the comments that, it's big meat and salad
You
sugar.
say, quit talking about my underwear.
Yeah.
The big meat supporter.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
There you go.
Cymbal crash.
Excellent. So, what do you have on the bench now, Kevin? What are you working on?
What do I have on the bench right now? So, like I said, I moved my shop, so it's a little bit sparse on the pegboard. But I got a couple things. I got a bent brandy that I'm working on.
Ooh.
There you go.
Both of these are about ready for blasting. And a potato sack that I'm gonna.
Potato sack.
Yeah. So a little bit of tweaking on the shape before I blast it, and then obviously the stem is going to have like the Sixton style another little bulb here bent down. So I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
So hopefully this shop should be done, and hopefully tomorrow. So I'll be able to get back to actually cutting stuff and making sawdust down here.
Can I chime in with a question?
Sure.
Yes, please.
I've not heard potato sack before.
So
that's what they used to call me. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Yam hammock. They call me yam hammock.
Wow. I thought it was because you were just a little spud.
Oh, kids, 4 of us is off the rails.
Fantastic.
For those of you at home, this show is not for children in any way, shape, or form. You must be 21 or older to listen to this podcast.
Anyway, Kevin? Back to you.
Yeah. So potato sack, I'm fairly confident in saying that it was a Sixton Everson design. And honestly, the name is pretty accurate. It's kind of wide from the front profile on the bottom. It looks like a potato sack.
It looks a little bit like another kind of sack, to be frank, but I like it.
It does.
But I like it.
It does. Yeah. And again, this is my interpretation of the design. So
you should make the left side up.
A little
Make
bit
the
lower.
left side higher than the right side. Yeah. Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Do a little veiny rustication or something. I don't know.
That's been done, but that's more Yorn Mickey.
Oh, look at the time, kids. We're about to be canceled. Yeah.
You can call it the Balchinian.
There you go.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. I've seen that shape before, but I didn't in a pipe. But I've not.
It's one of the ones that Stanwell. I don't know if they still make it, but it's at least historically a Stanwell shape that was I believe started by Sixton, and of course there's examples by Sixton, and it's It's not the most popular shape in the world, but it's out there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Good deal.
Yeah.
How many pipes you taken to Muletown?
Be a good question. Depends. A smarter man would have waited to do the shop move until after Chicago. So I kind of shot myself in the foot by taking a couple weeks off with between going to Nate's and doing this move. So again, I'll be back up running. I'm looking around. I'll have at least like 5 or 6 at the minimum.
Okay.
All right.
All right, good.
Excellent. Yeah.
And then whatever else I can get done.
Yeah, and Muletown will be a drunk out.
I hope so.
Sobriety will not be
Should
an
be.
issue for any of you. So,
Yeah.
excellent.
It's such a fun show.
It is a great time.
I don't know, the vibe, I don't love that word, but it's just such a different show.
Yeah.
Well, everybody.
Yeah,
felt,
it's a smaller... Go ahead, Jim.
No, I just want to make Caleb nervous. Go ahead,
It's a
Tim.
smaller-
You're in.
It's a smaller venue, so it's tight.
It is.
And they've got the bar out front. You can smoke through the whole venue. They got a food truck outside. It's a real party. It's just fun.
Yeah, absolute party. Yeah, like you said, bar, smaller, more intimate. It's relatively local to me, so it's mostly filled with old friends and new friends. You know, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Yeah.
describe it. It's just fun.
Kevin, where are you
It's just a
looking?
good time.
Atlanta.
Glenn.
Yeah, I haven't been to a pipe show
Short
yet, so I'm
drive.
kind of looking forward to my first one.
We really got to fix that.
You're kidding.
This whole working for a living thing is really cramping my pipe.
It's
and
overrated.
Wildly,
Yeah.
Oh, Jim, tell us about the latest R96V furnace. Oh, please no. Let's not talk about that. That's not interesting at all. It's 9 below. Yeah, it'd be handy, but no, I don't want to talk about it. All right.
That's gonna be my first question the first time I see you at a show.
You want to see a furnace? All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll bring one. They're lightweight, portable, easy to
I'll
Easy to
have to
handle.
remember that serial number you just threw out there.
Yeah.
Can I interest you in a heat pump?
I've got a refrigerant line set for you, sir. All right. Yeah, it has gotten in the way, and it's hard for me to travel. And I don't have since I moved to Colorado, I don't have a ton of vacation time. So, my days off are few and far between, and have to use them sparingly. So, I don't get to go to pipe shows. I am going to try to get to Ohio, just because that's where my blends first came out, and Tim took me out there, and we can go to Ohio once. That'll be good. I probably won't lose too many IQ points, but I'll be okay. I'm here in Colorado.
I've heard great things about that show. That's not one of them that I've been to yet, but I've got to try to make that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Soon.
It's a good show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good show.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I'm really going to try to get to Vegas because it's just a flight over the mountains. It's not very far. So those are the two I'm going to try to get to. So those will be my first 2 shows. So fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can
I'll
get
be in
this pulled
Vegas.
off. You going to do Vegas too?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Vegas is a fun mix. It's like almost as big as Chicago, but still has a lot of the fun aspect that Muletown has. It's a great show, too.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian and Dave have really done a great job.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they have. They just do spectacular. And, that's the thing about Chicago. You can't hardly smoke anywhere in Chicago. So I'm not really sure how much fun a pipe show without being able to smoke is. So.
Chicago's also... Every pipe show is awesome. You got to do it.
All right. Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
Tim, do you have any more questions for Kevin?
I have a question.
Well,
All right.
yep.
Go ahead, Tim. You were called first. I'll stand by.
No. This is the part where Caleb starts twitching uncontrollably and tries to grab at the hazard pen. We thought
see
we
this
forgot, didn't we,
happens now.
Caleb? Yeah. Come on.
So,
he's
Kevin,
random.
tell everybody everybody watching this or listening to it, how they can get a hold of you.
So mostly through Instagram at this point. I also have an email address. It's fosterhandmadeusa@gmail.com. That works as well, but I mean, 99% of it is through Instagram or at a show. And that's all the pipes I can make up until this point. Hopefully that'll start changing soon, and there'll be more things just kind of freely available, but it's either, everything I make is either a commission or it's sold at a show, honestly.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We'll post that in the show notes, so it'll be, available to anybody that looks at the YouTube or Spotify. Todd, go ahead with your question.
Well, thank you, sir. Actually, Kevin, you just answered it. My question was going to be, do you do commission, or are you just cranking out whatever you want to crank out and throwing it up for sale?
I do. In an ideal world, what I do is I'll make one commission and then one just out of my mind for a show. But then it always ends up being like, now that I've kind of procrastinated with my shop move, now I'm kind of behind the 8 ball, so I'm going to have to again put commissions on the back burner for a little while and try to crank stuff out for shows. So it seems to always work out to be less than my ideal, but
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. So,
Well, it looks like your space is really nice. Just looking at behind you, looks like you've got a lot of room now.
I'm really excited about this. Yeah, it's going to be a huge improvement.
Now, was your wife upset that you put the washer and dryer in the backyard?
No, I was just in a tiny, literally, I don't know if you can see behind me, between, that edge where that tool chest is and that bench there. That was it. That's all I had. Nothing more.
Uh-huh.
And now I've got both sides of it and everything else. So
Nice.
nice.
Good for you.
yeah, and it won't be freezing in the wintertime and sweating in the summer.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good deal.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, I think it's time, and because we have so many great questions for the show, let's go right to questions for the show, and then we'll do what's new, and we'll talk about a bunch of other stuff. So,
All right.
first question of the show for our pipe makers. What would you recommend as a maintenance step to keep your pipe looking new? Type of polish for the bowls and stems, etc., for the average pipe smoker?
I have some thoughts on that. Well, it depends on so many things. So, what's the stem made of? Is it acrylic? Then nothing. Well, let me take a step back. First of all, I think the pipe should age with its owner. So, it shouldn't really look as shiny new always as it did when you first bought it. But that being said, obsidian oil for the stems, and I don't know, send it to somebody to buff every once in a while. Put some new wax on if you really want to.
Yeah, that's the thing is, if you have a buffer, you can kind of do your own maintenance of that sort. But if you don't, there's some polishes that are out there that you can rub on. They'll kind of melt, with your hand temperature, and you just put a film on there. Which one's that one, Jim?
This is the Decatur Pipe Shield No Buff Wax. And I keep that just for my gray bows, because I do have a buffer. But I like how it keeps the gray bows looking sharp. So that's my
Riley
percent.
Holmes sent me a jar of this Paragon wax, and I put that on some of my old pipes, and just let it sort of dry to a film, and then you can just wipe it off with a soft cloth, and it shines up nicely. If you put it to the buffing wheel, it's even better. And I think that's the kind of thing, it sort of conditions the exterior of the pipe a little bit, that finish, so that, and it's just, I just got it, so we'll have to see if it patina's a little bit differently, maybe more evenly or something, I don't know. We'll see but it feels pretty good, and it looks nice on it. So I'm going to use that. You have any ideas, Todd?
No, I don't. I'm listening intently with what you guys have to offer. I really haven't spent, other than just cleaning the inside after I smoke it, I haven't really spent a whole lot of time on maintenance for my pipes. I think at some point I'm going to have to break down and get some for a few of these, particularly, and I'll spin the question just a little bit and throw it back at you. I've got some pipe, and this is kind of probably a simple answer, but I'm just overthinking it maybe. But I've got some pipes with some nice metal accent. What do you use to polish up your brass and such on your pipes?
See, all this they're really great questions that I'm not a restorer. I don't have that background, and honestly, it's crazy how much of a different skill set that really is.
Yeah.
And you could go out and buy yourself buffing equipment, but I don't think I'd really recommend that. I don't know how many pipes have you ruined buffing, Tim? I mean, early on a couple, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, you right. You put a little too much pressure on it. You're not holding on to it, and zoom, it launches out of your hand, and now you got a problem.
Yeah.
For example, the brass, Todd. I've got a couple that have metal, nickel or silver or something like that on, or brass. And if I were to, I haven't cleaned them up, but if I were to, what I would do is I would take some painter's tape and tape around, mask it off, and then maybe just, with a pipe cleaner, put a little bit of Brasso on there, maybe, then just a small amount.
Sure.
Doesn't take much. Work it around, and then wipe it off with a cloth, and then you can peel the tape off, and you won't have gotten any of that onto the.
What about silver polish? I'm sorry. Go ahead. You finish.
No. Well, I was going to say you could use like Mother's. There's that. It's called Mother's polish that you could probably use for silver. I think you could use it. You'd have to read the label. Some of that stuff will remove the silver, like too much of it, and you don't want to use it. I know there's silver polish that's specifically for silver, but whatever you do, if there's metal involved, you have to mask off the wood, because if you drag that tarnish off onto the wood, it's going to color the grain, and you're not going to be able to get it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you're going to learn how to stain the bowl and stumble a dark color, which will be, good practice.
Black.
Right.
Yeah.
We're kind of in a gray area. How gray? Charcoal.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, it makes an ugly mess.
Okay. The second question from @Noah's House, and thank you, Noah, for sending us questions almost every week religiously. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't been to his YouTube channel, please patronize @Noah's House. Jim, what ESF blend would you recommend for a newer pipe smoker? Okay. How many of us started off smoking aromatics? And how many of us enjoyed tongue bite to the point where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore?
I know. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a little different. I go back to the story of going into the tinderbox in Palm Springs, where she handed me a tin of Westminster and a tin of Acadian Perique and a tin of a long since forgotten blend. And I discovered that, wow, I really don't have to work on cadence as much with an English blend. The Latakia covers a lot of smoking mistakes. So, if I were a new pipe smoker, I would recommend Dreek Crew, which is a lightly aromatic English. It has bergamot flavoring on it, and it is very easy to smoke and has a fantastic flavor that the room note will appeal to most everybody. The second blend that I would recommend was one that my friend James recommended, and it's called English Imperium, and it is a very, very light English. The Virginias on it really stand out. It is an easy to smoke blend, and those would be the two I would tell you. If you want to start off as a pipe smoker, don't go to the Aromatics. Don't grab a tin of cherry cobbler or peach pumpkins. Don't. You're going to get tongue bite. You're going to hate it. You're going to be upset. It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Pick something that's easy to smoke. And if anybody needs recommendations, you can always write them in the comments below. All right. So Garrett, taking over for Todd, when it comes to submittals for questions, sent about a page of them. So, and by the way, Garrett, interesting guy. He lives here in Colorado, and he got a couple of blends from me, and he came by and he said, "Hey, have you ever tried C&D's Blue Ridge?" I said, "No, I've never heard of it." He goes, "Well, here's a little package of it. Try it and tell me if you like it." I said, "Okay." So I smoked a bowl on the way home, and I thought, "Yeah, this is really good. It's kind of a Oriental Latakia, nice Virginias in it, really great." And he tells me, "Yeah, they made a mistake at tobaccopipes.com, and they're selling it for $1.50 a tin."
Oh.
Really?
And I'm like, "Okay, good to know. Thank you." And I immediately went on Tobacco Pipes and ordered 10 tins of it. And Blue Ridge, I got it right side up, upside down. Blue Ridge.
Yeah, that's upside down.
Okay, good. So here, I'll put
There
it
you go.
sideways. There you go. We're going to make you struggle if you're watching on YouTube. So you get, it's Blue Ridge. And it's just a fantastic, easy to smoke blend. It's not anything overpowering. I really liked it. And, for $22 including shipping, I'll take 10 tins of that all day long. So well done, Garrett.
Yeah.
So let's get to Garrett's questions.
Fantastic.
And these are predominantly pipe making questions. Is using defects to dictate pipe design a thing? If you did 3 to 4 fills and incorporate that as part of some sort of pattern, or do you guys just blast it or rusticate it and call it good?
Well, for me, it kind of depends on how deep they are, where they are. There are some, even though they don't go all the way through to the chamber, they're so deep that you really can't rusticate it out, because you're just going to distort you're changing the shape altogether because it's such a deep gash. Then there are others that you can kind of work them in. If they're not fatal, they're just surface imperfections. And so if you're doing a burr rustication or sandblasting, sometimes when you see sand pits or voids on the surface, that can become a black hole, and you start blasting through that, and then you end up with this mess because you blasted away everything on the surface, and you got into the void that's underneath that turns out to be, bigger than you had counted on.
So you're not trying to turn it into a side loading pipe?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, I wish there was a simple answer to that question, but it just really depends on what you encounter.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. Kevin, what do you think?
There's no right answer, and it depends on so many factors. Are you Danish style shaping? Are you doing shape first, drill second? Are you doing it on the lathe? There's, the classic example is there's a giant flaw that goes right into the airway on the shank, so you just shorten the shank and make it a bamboo pipe. Or I had one. It was the thing was so sneaky. It was right in the wall of. You couldn't see it from the outside or the inside. You could only see it from the rim. So it's like, all right, well, let's make it shorter. And it went down and down and down and down. I ended up making a pipe with it, but it was still like, there's so many factors to that there's no one answer. I mean,
Right.
you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain things that it's obvious, like, okay, that's small, but it's going to change the shape I want, or not, or this is the shape, we're going to sandblast it or rusticate it. I really don't you do some rusticate. I really don't do rustication very much.
I have an order for a Danish apple, and the customer wants me to do the nail rustication on it.
Mm-hmm.
and I've been putting it off because I hate it.
Really?
You know, I agreed to do it because it's like one of those things where somebody says, "Hey, let's go," you know, wherever, you know, let's go watch River Dance. And then the day that the River Dance is here, it's like, God, why did I say I would do that?
Yeah.
So, you know, so I've done it in the past. I hate it, and I try to avoid it. What I'll do is use a burr and, you know, and do a pattern.
That's great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's easier on my hands. I think for me, it looks better to me. Because see, that's the other thing with the nail rustication too. You know, if you have an imperfection that it doesn't show up on the surface, and then you start digging away, pulling chunks out of that, and then you uncover that. Oh man, now you're got a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
You know?
You brought up, that's one of the many things that I love about this hobby so much is that there's 25,000 things in pipe making that I haven't tried yet. And it's just kind of a never-ending black hole of things to learn. You know, you learn the lathe, you learn the shaping, you learn, then you're like, all right, now I'm going to learn silversmithing, and now I'm going to learn this kind of rustication, and that, there's just so many. It's a never ending. There's so many things that you can have fun with experimenting with and trying out.
Yeah.
So I would love to try out. I've never done a nail rustication. That would be fun to try one time. I don't love most of the ones that I've seen, but there's some that are spectacular. Costello Sea Rocks are great, you know?
Yeah, that real chunky kind of, it looks like it's, you know, there are bigger pieces that are broken away from the surface, and it looks like they're brushed somehow. Jim, I did it was a Costello pipe that you had that I redid a stem for. It's a light tannish color. It's got that type of rustication on it. And I looked at that and tried to figure out how did they do that, you know?
Yeah, that's
because
those Lorenzos.
Lorenzo, that's right, yeah. It would seem to me that, you know, if you go at it with a wire wheel, you would flatten, you know, the texture that you put on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not sure how that's done.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you do it and then come back and blast again? I mean, there's so many things to learn and try.
Well, you know what? We've got Jack Ryan coming up from Jack Ryan Pipes. And he does some of the best rustication. I've got a couple of his rusticated pipes, and I absolutely love them because they're so different. And we'll ask him how he accomplishes that. So, we'll talk to other pipe makers. All right, ready for the next question? Yeah. All right,
sure.
This goes more to me. Do you think there will ever be a way to easily classify flavors you may or may not like what they do with personality traits? No. Nope. That is not going to happen. And here's why. If I gave Tim and Todd and Kevin and I all smoked the same blend, I promise you that none of the four of us are going to taste it the same. There might be some things we pick out that are similar, but because everybody's palate is so different, you know, the pH of your body, what you had to drink with it, all of these things play a part, and it's almost impossible to classify what someone's going to taste, especially in pipe tobacco. You know, cadence comes into play, the size of the bowl comes into play, you know, the airways come into play. There's just far too many variables for anybody to ever narrow it down. Now, if we all only smoked one size pipe and one style, and we all smoked the same way, we could get a little closer, but those things aren't going to happen, so I'm just going to go with no. So, all right.
Wouldn't it be interesting, though, if you could blend tobaccos that appealed to certain personality traits, like you would have the total douchebag loner blend, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, the vegans.
Well, what would that taste like? There you go.
Yeah.
Tastes like ass.
Yeah.
Motor oil and outboard motor, mostly. I think is what that would taste like.
That's funny.
Right.
I was thinking about that in a different direction. So part of my homebrewing hobby is also that I'm a beer judge. Like, I judge homebrew competitions, and it's similar in that, like, but everybody drinks a beer more or less like the same way, you know, glass to mouth, put in your mouth, swallow. And even in that, there's palate variations in that, but you can still, and people are more sensitive to different chemicals and esters and phenols and things. But again, gosh, pipe smoking, there's just so many more
There's just way
pieces
too
to
many
that
variables.
puzzle.
Well,
There's way too many variables.
well, I agree with that. Okay, pipe makers, what do you think AI would suggest for a pipe design?
A pipe with 4 bowls and 2 stems, and
Right.
the AI pictures I've seen.
Yeah. I think AI would suggest we go to meetings. Hi, my name's Jim. I like to smoke a pipe. Oh,
Right.
we're so sorry, Jim. How long have you been smoking a pipe? Shut up and leave me alone. Go away. If it's anything like the AI I've seen, and Anthony from Castle Briars designed a pair of logos for me, and AI can't spell very well, and English is not its first language. I'm thinking pipe design would border on, well, everyone needs a 2.5-foot pipe that's, 3 inches thick, and a bowl that's, you can put a small brick of tobacco in. Save time,
Yeah.
save money. Yeah, no, I don't think AI is
Frankly,
going to be.
I think AI. I think it's amazing that it even knows what pipe smoking is at this stage. From the other things I've seen it do.
Well, you and I are
So
both in the Pipe Spores and Pals Football League, and you saw the
Yeah.
AI-generated pictures of Justin smoking a pipe,
Yeah.
shirtless, holding a dozen ducks, and how
Yeah, I
AI
think I
came
made
up.
those.
Yeah, and how AI came up with that, and somebody was lonely, drunk, and in front of their computer.
I couldn't figure out how to make it make a picture with him having a shirt on. I couldn't even convince it to do that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those were hilarious. and that was-
Give it another 2 months and it'll probably be taking over the world. So what do I know?
Could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, and you made me look like a curmudgeon trapped in a closet. Like, well, there's Jim all hunched over.
Yeah,
I saved that,
it didn't
by the
really
way.
understand what pipe tobacco blending was about. It didn't understand that.
Nah,
Essence.
No, it didn't. Okay.
I have a hard time getting into my email. I can't imagine monkeying around with AI.
Here's the pipe
You know?
design. I need a 48-pound block of oak. Ooh, that'll be fun. Strap that to
Yeah.
the lathe. Let me know how that works out for you.
A
Okay.
railroad tie.
Yeah, question number 4, and this is for all of us. Have you seen Idiocracy, the movie? If not,
Love
it will
it.
feel like a modern-day documentary.
It's a documentary. I've been saying that for years.
It is.
This came up at
I've
Nate
not
King's
s-
house, actually. Bring that full circle
There you go.
for the 2 people that were there.
But the plants need electrolytes.
Yeah.
Todd, have you seen Idiocracy?
I have not seen that.
I have not, no.
Oh, you
haven't
gotta
seen it.
watch it.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Add that to your
Idiocracy.
list.
Noted.
Yeah, Idiocracy.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it's absolutely hilarious because it is like modern times. It really is. It is a documentary at this point.
How old
Then
is it?
it's a horror movie?
No, it's a,
Well,
the premise of it is like there's an army experiment where they find the most average people in the world and they put them in like a time freezer and they fast forward it like, I don't know, 2,000 years, and then they wake up and the world has just devolved into idiocracy. So then these people that were just modern day average are now the smartest people in the world.
They're geniuses. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that kind of makes sense. It sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, here's a good question. What types of truly unsafe wood there is to smoke from? There are a lot of rumors and conjecture, but most of it is also based on rumor.
Well, poisonous woods like coca-cola or like what Jason Patrick was talking about the other day, taking a piece of treated lumber and making a pipe out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because puffing arsenic is, a good time for everyone. I'd recommend that. The one wood that probably scares me the most is called burdock, because it actually secretes an oil that almost like burns your skin, gives you a rash.
It's Osage orange.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that's like the scary one for me.
That's- I mean, this question comes up so often. To me, people, there's so many different things out there. For example, your last guest, Ben Smith, he has a pipe from me that is a 1 of 1 I will never do again. It has a leopard wood accent, common wood in woodworking. I had, just from making a 1/4 inch accent on the stem, hives all over my body for a week solid.
Really?
Had no idea. Yep. Just I found out that I'm highly allergic.
You're allergic
to
to it.
that wood, and that never would know. So
Sounds like we need to work on a commission then from you, huh?
yeah, right.
Another
Yeah,
wood that-
there's one that's ironwood. I've used that before, and it's
Yeah.
got a
Beautiful
like
wood.
a creosote. Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's got a creosote kind of smell to it. And I had a problem with that. It was making my nose burn, and yeah. So
and-
that was in the bin.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And-
I
and
mean,
when
so
you-
accents are one thing. Like, where it's never going to touch smoke. Like, you're
No,
never going
not
to
fire.
ingest.
Yeah.
But like, the question that you see this on like pipe making forums and stuff all the time is like, can I make a stummel out of this? And it's like, I mean, maybe, but why?
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ironwood also smells like rancid cat piss when you burn it. I spent 13
Probably.
years in the desert.
Yeah.
Another
And
plus.
yeah, and we need to get firewood because it's going to get down to 74 today. And I had a friend burn ironwood in his fire pit, and it like cleaned out the neighborhood. It was just awful. Don't
No
burn
kidding.
ironwood. Yeah, terrible smell. All right. Here we go. This is not subjective at all, Garrett. Thank you. But I'm going to read the question anyway. What pipe provides the best smoking experience? Assuming you're just sitting and enjoying nothing else. It seems like all the quantities point to a large, cool chamber, but at what point does it just become a bomb?
I don't know what the. I think there's some personal preference involved in, for example, the chamber diameter. I've got smokers who've ordered for me, and they want a 20, 21 millimeter diameter, and made a bunch of them. And I have one, and made one for myself. I got to work like hell to keep it going. I like a 3/4 inch diameter tobacco chamber. I don't have to work hard at it to keep it going, but man, there's a lot of air passing through a 21 millimeter opening, with a 4 millimeter draft bore. So, but some people love them, and it's got to be a personal preference because I don't get it. It's just too much
100%,
work.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's not for me, but like, what am I gonna tell Rich Esserman he doesn't know what he's talking about? Of course not.
Right.
No,
and if they want that, they can have that. I don't have a problem
Yeah.
with it. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything to add to that. I like pipes in all shapes
Yeah.
and sizes. I will tell you that I do like a stacked tall billiard for Virginia blends, just because I like the way it tastes, and that's just personal preference. But I have pipes in all shapes and sizes, and the one I like the most is the one I'm having currently. So I'm gonna go with it from there.
I suppose
Yeah.
is there some truth, do you think, to the idea of having a wider bowl for something that's especially nuanced, with different ingredients and such, to be able to get that flavor out of everything that's in there all at one time, because it's got room to move. It's got room, not move, but it's got room to spread out.
I'm going to interject. This is actually like the reason where COVID brought me into pipe making, because I had all of these questions, and I figured that the easiest way to answer these questions would be, it'll be cheap. I'll just make my own.
There you go.
And where has that gotten me?
Into the basement.
Yeah. Yeah. What I'll tell you, what it really was, I read the book In Search of Pipe Dreams, and he's talking about how I like I just forget the dimensions, a 4.5 millimeter draft hole. And so I go, well, that's just a different drill bit. I'll just make my own and see how that works out. And that's really what got me into making pipes. That's not what I do. I haven't landed on that as being my preferred size. But I tried it out, and, a lathe's worth of money later, and now I'm making pipes.
Here you are. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. This is again. It's like can you quantify taste so everybody has a similar experience? No. You pick the pipe you like, and be happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, for example, back to the the larger chamber diameter. There's no right or wrong answer to that. It's a personal preference, and I guess that's the thing about this as a hobby is it's as unique as each individual. Some people like a certain thing, and it all has to do with your cadence and what you like to smoke, and gosh, you name it. There are a lot of different variables that go into it. So, and all that plays in. And then what's your expectation? What do you think is a good experience? How do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, Todd, what if you could pick the perfect bowl for you? What would that bowl shape size look like?
Don't have an answer for you. I like the variety in my pipes, that all different shapes and sizes, as somebody said earlier. I do. If I had to, I think I agree with you, Jim, and I like a tall stack for a Virginia. But that's about it. I mean, I don't really have a preference otherwise. I mean, I think I like, if I had to say like why do I like this pipe or that pipe, I think it's more about how it feels when I'm holding it in my mouth. Is it comfortable, to actually clench? Is it comfortable for me to hold my hand? And does it burn well? Does it allow the pipe to do what a pipe is supposed to do? And that's about it. I don't really have a preference otherwise.
Yeah, here's what I'll tell you, Garrett. Develop a relationship with a pipe maker, and you'll come to find out that whatever he makes is what you like. And Kevin and I have a relationship. Obviously, Tim and I have a relationship. I've got pipes by Woo. Most of the guys we're going to talk to, I have a pipe or two from. And the magic of it is I can pick up the phone and chat with any of them pretty much at any time, and they'll respond. And it's, kind of enlightening to talk to a pipe maker. So I'm telling you, pick what you like and go from there. That's what it is. We're down to the last two questions. What's the one thing you wish you had to further your tobacco-based ventures?
The one thing you wish you had.
Mm-hmm.
Time.
So there's... Ooh. That's an
Time
excellent...
and space.
Yes.
You just built like this 48 by 50 garage out there. What are you talking about, space?
Yeah.
You're cheating, Tim. That's not fair.
Yeah. You build it and you'll fill it.
Yeah. Truly.
Yeah.
I really
For
don't...
me, like, you can get from 0% to 80% relatively quickly. But to get that last 20% really takes a lot of time and expertise. I don't know.
I can see that.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
And
I think that's how it is with just about everything. You can get the 90% but you're always you spend all your time chasing around that last 5 to 10%.
Yeah.
And you can't give 100% because you've got
Yeah.
obligations. You've got a
Yeah.
life, you've got a job, you've got a family. So it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
I suppose to me it would be access. I would like to be able to get more Orientals. I would like to be able to get some of the tobaccos that only the big houses can get. But I'm very happy. I don't know that I really need anything else to get any further. I'm happy where I'm at and happy where I'm going. So,
Ditto.
all right. And then the last question.
Yeah.
What's Tim's salad of the week?
Oh, God. You know, that was cruel. That's cruel. It's arugula and watercress.
Oh, man.
The fact that I would know to say that is worrisome.
Well, the angry vegan will be very happy to see you.
Yeah.
I know. Did that question come from Alan?
No, it sure didn't. It came from Garrett. So I'm just reading. He's actually watching. He's up to episode 16, which I think was when we were deep in our vegan hating. Not that we've changed any. We just don't talk about it nearly as much as we do. Excellent. So,
But we can be prompted.
yeah, we can turn it right back on. I have no problem with it. Oh, I only eat vegetables. Well, I'm sorry. That's a mental condition that you need help for. So.
I have a question that official Dustin Bones sent me.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me a couple of questions, but I think the one that would be good for the group here is it bad to smoke different types of tobacco in a single pipe? How do I ensure that I am not screwing up the character of a tobacco by changing to a different type?
Oh, you want me to give that a crack? I smoke.
Sure.
Okay. I smoke everything out of every pipe. I have, I think, a small handful of pipes that I only smoke one thing out of, but the rest of the time, whatever I grab that day, whatever strikes my fancy, and whatever tobacco I pick, that's what I'm going to smoke, and I don't think I'm going to screw anything up.
Yeah.
I don't really feel that's. Go ahead.
I feel like the theme of this episode is it depends.
Right, sir.
and that's probably going to be the title. Tonight's episode, it depends with Kevin and Todd. So I really don't think.
I agree. I think you got to try. You got to try different pipes with different blends and figure it out. It's just one of those things that there's just not an answer. There just isn't.
So here's what I'll tell you, James, because James, that's who official Dustin Bones is, and he's the one that I designed English Imperium for that we talked about a little bit ago. There are two flavors of tobacco that Ghost like none other. Anything that has a cherry flavor, and anything that has
grape.
That Lakeland geranium water flavor.
Fair.
Those will Ghost a pipe, and you will pick up those. If you smoke 2 bowls through a pipe with cherry something, that's going to stay with you. And if you smoke a bowl with that Lakeland geranium water, that pipe is Ghosted. And I have worked. I've done a couple of estate pipes that it is damn near impossible to get those two out of. I mean, I'm talking about multiple salt and alcohol baths, reaming out the inside of the bowl. You've got to really work on cleaning the stumble to get that flavor out of it. And that's, other than that, let it ride.
No kidding. See, I can't get that past my nose. That it's just too perfumey. But I didn't know that it essentially ruins a pipe.
There are a lot of
ruins it
unless
for
you
anything
love
else.
that. Yeah, that's right. Unless you really love that kind of.
yeah, and there are people.
It depends on how much. Like if you smoke a bowl or two through it, it's not going to ruin the pipe. I bought estate pipes that just clearly this has been a latakia pipe for decades, and now that's just this is a latakia pipe now. Like, I can't do anything to change that. But that being said, like, pipes that like I've bought new, I'll smoke a couple English blends, a couple Balkan blends, a couple, you can mix that through, and it's not, you might get a little tiny bit of carryover, but it's not the same thing. I feel like it's the same with the examples you gave with the cherries and the those will carry through longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and I don't smoke aromatics, and my palate for pipe tobacco is fairly narrow. I venture outside the edges a little bit, but it's mostly Balkan blends and straight latakia, and I'll try some black Cavendish now and again. And so all I do is I find a pipe that's dry. If it hasn't been smoked in a couple of days, then that's the one that I'll pick up and smoke. No formula to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll chime in and just share my own habits as a weirdo. I don't know if I'm. I don't know. I'm guessing plenty of guys do this.
Give it to us, Horsemone.
Yeah, I was gonna say we gotta hang out, man.
We get along fine. Yeah, I mean, I have, I've got, I'm crazy. I've got a lot of pipes and I've got a lot of tobacco, so I mix I do have a tendency to choose one type of pipe over another for certain blends. For instance, I've said before, I'm a filter user, so my Virginias and my vapors all go into filter pipe almost exclusively. There's only a few vapors that I don't use a filter with. Now, that said, it could be any shaped bowl, but almost, although I do like a stack. But and then I have got non-filtered pipes for any English or Balkan that don't bother me as much, don't burn as hot for me. So that's about as far as I go with choosing a pipe based on the tobacco. Or I don't mind.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think the filters really affect Virginias and vapors more than others?
I think they burn a little hotter. I think the maybe the sugar content in it makes it hotter. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert. I don't know. But I know.
Does it just pull? Do you think it pulls moisture out, or
maybe?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. And I'll say this for the filters. Plenty of guys would push back and say, "Well, it takes away from the pull, or it takes away from the flavor of the tobacco." For me, it does not at all. In fact, I would say that I enjoy, especially certain tobaccos, I enjoy more with the filter because it cools it. It takes the moisture out a little bit. And I get no lack of flavor from it or anything. So that's my only. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Do you use the paper filters or the balsa wood?
Both. Depends on the pipe and the blend. If for the most part, I use the Vaughn Dr. Pearl 9mm carbon filters. I do have plenty of like Savinellis, for instance, that take a 9mm filter, and I use, the narrow filter rather, 6mm, and I'll put the paper filters in there, or the balsa. I have both, and I have the wider balsas too for the 9mm. I don't know. So it just depends on what I'm smoking. And sometimes I can't even pinpoint it, but I'm aware that if I grab one pipe to smoke, I'll have a memory go, oh, this tends to catch a little bit of extra moisture. Not necessarily the tobacco, but the pipe itself. So I might use a balsa in that one because I don't necessarily need it for the heat, but I know that there's going to be a lot of moisture in there, and that's a good absorber of the moisture that collects. So I don't know, and I don't eat. I do not have a handle on it. I don't. I'm not going to sit here and claim that I do.
Yeah.
I just do what I do, and it works for me, and I learn as I go, kind of thing.
Yeah. Right. Sure.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that wholeheartedly. It does catch moisture, and I'm one that believes that wet pipe tobacco, and this is why so many guys burn their mouths with aromatics, is because their moisture, the chemical additives that they put on it, and they will burn hotter and it's because of the moisture. And then if you put it in a bent pipe where you're going to be, you're going to get that dottle that comes down the stem, you're just asking for it to be a hot smoke. And I think heat and moisture cause more tongue bite than people realize. So, and I do like filters too.
Oh yeah.
So. But I solved that problem. Nording keystones. Drop those in the bottom of your pipe. Moisture goes away. They're absolutely
as well.
Go ahead, Kevin. You were going to say something important.
Important. I don't know about that. No, the first commission I ever had for a filter pipe also kind of coincided with I happened to have a work trip to Munich. So I went to Pfeifenhuber, of course. Like, what am I going to do there? Like, and so just talking to the guys there, and apparently in Germany, like 9mm filter pipes that's the majority of pipe smoking there. And it was just interesting, like having the conversations of why that's popular and what's the problem that we're trying to solve, and that caused me to go into a hugely deep dive of like how are these things engineered and like how do you drill a bent pipe with a 9mm filter. It's just interesting as a pipe maker to hear.
So you just tapped into something that I had forgotten and is worth mentioning, and maybe not in a long discussion here because we've been at it for a while already, but maybe another time, is that I'm always curious how other pipe smokers are experiencing the smoke, especially newbies, which I was not that long ago, honestly. I just got into it a couple years ago. But about 8 months to a year into my pipe smoking travels, I almost gave up because I was getting so much heat in my mouth. Not only tongue bite, but also, and I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, I still to this day have a little piece of the roof of my mouth is, I'm going to say scarred, for lack of a better word. I can feel it with the tip of my tongue. It's rough, whereas the rest of the roof of my mouth, and it's on this side because I smoke this way. The pipe just goes in here, and it's pointed back this way, so it hits up here on the roof of my mouth, and the gum, the inside of my mouth, the tooth that is right adjacent to that spot, the gum is receding. So my general curiosity for other smokers, if anybody wanted to chime in after the fact on this, is what kind of experiences are you having with the health of your mouth with regard to pipe smoking? How is it affecting you, if at all? But I went through a phase where it was becoming uncomfortable for me, and I quickly found that trying filters where I had steered away from it from the beginning actually helped, and I don't suffer anymore at all, but I still have that spot that has yet to go away.
That's fascinating. I mean, it's really interesting. Obviously, I'm not a dentist. It's like I
play one on TV.
Yeah, I don't know.
Play one on TV.
Like my first instinct would be to say like, "Oh, you're smoking too hot. You're smoking too fast." But like,
no doubt, I probably was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I got a radiator pipe off of Aaron McGee, and I was
nice.
I was shocked at how nicely a thing like that smokes, and how much moisture. Now, like I dry the tobacco thoroughly, and I do that. I try to dry it as much as I can. And it was unbelievable the amount of moisture that collected in the bottom of that, in the bottom of that chamber. And that's why I've gotten to making these reverse calabashes, because, like you were talking about, Todd, when it's hot, I get that hot sensation, or the tongue bite. They seem to go together. It comes from, at least my guess is that it's coming from the moisture. And it's not necessarily the tobacco. Like in the shop, if it's been cool in there through the night, and then I'll come in the morning, turn the heaters on and all that sort of thing, that cool moist air is still floating around in there, and I'm pulling that down in over top of the hot tobacco. And the result is going to be condensation. And that's where I notice it in other pipes. I got to go just really slow, kind of sip it, and especially with like damper tobaccos, like that Black Cavendish that you sent me, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
The Iron Mike, that you can wait all day long, and that's going to still feel a little bit moist. And man, I got a lot of moisture out of that, even after drying it for a couple of hours. And so, I think there's a lot of it that comes from the moisture, at least in probably like the sugars that are in the tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
I never get that with like Balkan blends or Latakia, but I do with anything that's got Virginia in it or Kentucky. Those types of tobaccos.
Okay.
My 2 cents.
It depends.
Yep. It's
There you go.
Nailed
It's
it.
like, deliver the baby, Tim. Deliver the baby.
Again, just like there's a variety of blends, there's a variety of different ways to smoke. And when I was doing the interview with the International Pipe Smokers Lounge, do you think about cadence? No, I don't, because my commute to work pipe and the commute home from work pipe, that's clenching and fear. So whatever happens, it's
Yeah.
But my dog walk pipe, that's a little different. I manage those two things differently, and I haven't run into problems yet with dental work, or the inside of my mouth, because I figured out, there are some things that cause tongue bite in me, and I just don't smoke them, and that solves the problem. Oh, Jim, if you change your cadence and put it into this special pipe, nope, you've already lost me. I'm going to smoke it how I want, and if it burns me, I'm going to do something else.
What about your sitting on the can pipe? How do you manage that?
No,
No?
because I am producing enough flammable gas that is just, oh, look, it's Johnny Human Torch. Look. In fact, I talked about that on last week's episode. I bought this bag of Old Trapper hot and spicy beef jerky, and what it should have said was uncontrollable, violent flatulence. I'll have a little piece of that, and man, I'm barking all the way around. Oh, Jim, what are you doing? I'm going to go out and fog the warehouse. Enjoy. I need a few moments alone.
See, this is where Denver and the freezing cold comes into play. It can work to your benefit, because before you go into the crapper, you go out and you break an icicle off of the downspout.
Yeah,
you take that in there with you.
Something to cool it off.
Where's this going? Oh,
something to douse it with.
No, I hadn't thought of it that way, Tim, but thanks for pointing that visual image in my head late in the show. Great. Hey, Jim, what are you doing with that icicle? Shh. It's my quiet alone time now. Yeah.
oh wow. That's a concern for the worst.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yep. You walk up to the line and step over it.
Lines.
Yeah.
What are those? I'm not familiar with that.
When that conversation started, I was thinking more like icicle lobotomy, but
No,
Yeah.
wrong answer.
No, not for me.
If you
No,
get
I
a big
had
enough
too much
one, yeah.
I had too much hope for you guys.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Anytime you think you know where the bar is, look lower.
Yep.
You've guessed wrong again, Kevin.
I love it.
Congratulations.
You're my kind of people. You're my kind of people. I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What are you going to do with that icicle, Jim? I'm going to try to change my mind manually.
That's right. See? You go
Man.
low, we go lower.
And
Yeah.
you sing Moon River
Yeah.
while you're doing
Moon River.
Moon River.
Well, you
I get
you
no
got the whole fist up there, Doc.
From Champagne.
In today's
Hey, you know-
episode,
You heard
Going to
the
take a
joke
dart.
about the.
There we go.
Did you hear the joke about the proctologist?
Okay, great.
It was
Well,
working.
Jim's already
it
got
was
his
working,
glove on.
Right. He was working in his shop. He called his wife, And he says, can you come and get me? Why, what happened? She goes, he says, I cut my finger off. She said, the whole finger? He goes, no, the one next to it. Takes a minute.
It depends.
Wow.
Yeah.
It depends. It does depend. Yeah.
All right.
Do you know the wait?
Go ahead.
Do you know the difference
Go ahead.
between Do you know the difference between an oral and an anal thermometer? The taste.
The taste? That's terrible.
Yep.
Ah,
Yep. Yep.
jeez.
Fact.
All right.
Okay.
I think you win the prize there. I think you win the prize. Good night, Mrs. Calabash. Where are we?
So now, Tim, we'll go back to what's new in your collection, and I know you posted a great picture of a reverse calabash today. So show that bad boy off.
Well, there's a couple of them. There's this one that was a day or so ago, and then I like that one so much I made another one.
Tim, that's not your whole finger, is it?
That's no, it's the one next to it.
Because I don't want to buy those pipes now.
This segment of the show is sponsored by Cramp Easy Lube. Cramp Easy Lube.
Tim. All right. Tim, how are you drilling? Are you like boring those on the lathe, or do you have like a narrow bit chamber?
Well, I do everything on the lathe,
Yeah.
and so all I have is a wood lathe. So what I do is I drill this out. It's a 1/2 inch
Yeah.
diameter, okay, and then I'll take a 1/2 inch diameter drill
Yeah.
to create a conic, or not a conic.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, sort of at the bottom of that, and then I'll turn the tenon by hand.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
So you just turn and check it and turn it, check and turn it, check it until you get a nice fit.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed by people who can do the drilling on a wood lathe like you can do. Because that's how I started out. And you can do anything on a wood lathe, but it takes skill to do
Well, and you got to
precise
take your
things
time.
on a wood lathe. You do. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. You
Yeah.
really do.
You got to take little bits at a time and keep, turn it off, check it, and just sneak
Yeah.
up on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's certain things like spending the money to upgrade to a big wood metal lathe is it worth it? I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. It depends. Like everything else in this episode. But
Yeah.
oh man.
It's a matter of opinion.
You know what
Yeah.
I know. I've looked at a metal lathe, and for me the jury's still out on it, because there's you've got the features of a metal lathe, but then there's still a lot of operations you have to do in finishing the pipe where you're doing the same thing you'd be doing on a wood lathe.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And maybe a third of the whole build job you do on the with the features of the metal lathe, and then the rest of it, I might as well just and you got all the tool changes and all that sort of stuff. I think I'm just going to stick with the wood lathe unless I want to do something that is so precise that I have to have the XY axis controls to be able to move the tool around. I don't know.
It's a trade-off. It's a trade-off for sure.
Yeah,
But
jury's
if
out.
you've got the space,
Yeah,
why not have both?
true. You can
Hear
never
that,
go
Tim?
wrong having more tools.
Sounds like you need $1,000 metal lathe, Tim.
Yeah. Well,
Can never go wrong having more tools.
I mean, $1,000 might be a little light for a metal lathe.
Yeah, they're
I didn't
expensive.
say a good one. I just said,
Right. Harbor Freight makes them.
yeah. I mean, so we're all guys. Our show, our listeners are almost 100% male, almost 100% over the age of 55.
Almost. Not 100%. Almost.
Yeah, yeah. But when you guys do projects at home, do you build in tool costs, like stuff you're going to need to actually do the build? You know, like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I need this particular tool, which I don't have. Do you build that into the cost of the estimate?
Oh, heck no.
Look at
Yeah.
Kevin.
You mean
he's
like
smiling
just
going,
a
yeah,
home,
yeah.
a home?
Yeah, like a
You
home
mean like
project.
a home project?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
because
yeah. I do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I don't know. So, for example, our garbage disposal went out a couple, like 3, 5, whatever weeks ago, and it's like, well, you know, I bought a new garbage disposal that would be better and it's going to last a while, and it came to a point where then it's like, then the drain is not cut right. Now I've got to go in and fix it all. It's like, gosh, you know, it's going to cost me probably $400 in tools. Not 400, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's going to cost me this amount in tools to do this myself. I know that I can do it myself, but it's probably going to cost me 10% more just to hire a guy and come in and do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, I thought you were talking. I agree with that point, but I thought you were talking about, you know, I got a project, and well, so for example, I'm making this furniture for my daughter,
Yeah.
and in order to make
that's a different
shaker
story.
shaker doors,
Yeah.
I need new to buy some additional bits for my router to cut the profiles. I want those. I want them. So I'm just going to get them, and I don't care.
Well, so when I'm, doing a household project, I'll look at it and go, okay, I'll need this, here's the raw materials. I also need this tool, which is going to save me about 20% of time. That goes into the budget. You know what I mean? So when I go, okay,
Yeah.
it's going to cost us $650 to do this. Okay, that's fine. All right. And then I get that tool, and, it's like a plumber's wrench. They're $15. Okay, how often do you need one? Rarely. But when you need it, you gotta have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's certain tools where, like, that's true, where, like, I will maybe need this again, and there's certain tools where it's like, I'm never going to use this thing again.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a ratcheting PVC cutter for one job that I do. But you know what?
Yeah.
Man, it made it sweet. And that...
Yeah. But now it looks really cool hanging on my wall.
Oh, yeah. It's in my... It's on the pegboard. It looks helpful. Periodically I have to dust it. Never going to get used again because I don't do anything with PVC. But I'm just curious. Thought it's all part of the It Depends episode. So
Exactly. Like projects like that, I'm not going to type into a spreadsheet. But again, Ben Smith, Georgia Tech freshman chemistry, taught me to be a spreadsheet guy. Things like that aren't going to go into a spreadsheet. But pipe math, like doing like this is it's kind of it's a hobby business, but it's a business now. So like I've got spreadsheets, and it's kind of the math changes on certain things periodically.
Right. Sure.
Periodically.
But then again, there's always that really cool tool that you would just really have always wanted to have, and it's like, I know it's too expensive, and I'm only going to use it maybe occasionally, but by golly, I just want that,
But that's going to look really cool on the pegboard. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
or mount it on
That's
a
right.
stand and you just wheel it
And then
around.
you use the job to justify the purchase.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
I got to do this right, so I might as well get this thing I've been looking at for a couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now it's at least a tax write-off. I know.
That's
That's right. All right.
That's right.
Okay, so what's new in my collection?
Yes.
The dilemma of being friends with Mitchell and Sarah is that every Sunday night they say, "Hey, Jim, we're going to post some new pipes." Oh, really? What do you got? And this Chacombe, which I really, really like.
Ooh.
I just like the color.
Look at that.
I like the adornment on the stem.
Did
And
Batman just show up here?
Why are you wearing black gloves?
It depends, Kevin.
He got so excited with the anal humor.
No, I'm actually going to take a blend out of the press here in a minute, and I thought I'd impress you all. And by the way, if you buy the nitro
And you only
gloves,
have one color of gloves. Yeah, I got it.
And the fingertips on those things.
well, yeah, and they say, oh, these are for extra large hands, and you notice these are not meat hooks here. I am, I can pretty much palm a grapefruit, so I do not have enormous hands. And these effing things are like for, oh, look, here, these are extra large gloves for a prepubescent boy. They're the tiniest effing things. And luckily, I bought 500 of them, so I'm going to have them a while.
good.
And I, why buy a quantity and test them when you can just buy a effing box? So,
That makes sense.
yeah. And
I was
and
worried
then,
that you just wore those like on a regular basis. I
sometimes,
didn't realize that you were going to eventually unbox some tobacco. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Sometimes, Kevin, when you get a little bit older, you show up in the bedroom and you're naked and you're wearing black rubber.
You just have black rubber gloves on at all times.
That's
I
right.
got you. Yeah.
So, where's this going?
Yeah.
It
I mean,
depends.
It's
Valentine's Day is already come and gone, but anyway.
yeah, you got to be careful with that galloping rash. Wear the gloves.
Honey, good news, bad news. The good news is I did test positive. The bad news is the gloves are permanent. So, now I made a couple. So, it was a really creative week for me. So, Beans 316 last weekend did a review of Port Mary, and he says I really got to get in touch with Jim. So I reached out to him, and he said, "Do you really do custom blends?" I said, "Yeah, I sure do." He goes, "Well, I want you to make 2 custom blends for me." So the first custom blend I made for Beans is what's called Beans Blend Number 1, and it's burley and rye. It is a predominantly burley blend with a coating of Pikesville rye on it, and it smells absolutely wonderful. And he really wanted something strong, so it's got, Tennessee, Kentucky dark fired, light fire cured Virginia, some red burley tips. It is just a burley kind of blend. He says, "I really want it strong. Careful what you wish for you will surely get it." And then he asked for a vapor that was heavy on Perique. So this is Beans number 2, and this is one of the new plug cuts, and it is a vapor forward, or a Perique forward vapor blend. So those will go out to Beans tomorrow, and we'll see what he has to say about them. And then I was talking to the international pipe guys over the weekend, and I just had a fit of creativity, and I made this vapor blend out of Virginias I don't use a lot. And just thought, well, I'll press it in the new press and see what I come up with. And I think it is probably one of the best vapors I've ever made. Nobody's tasted it but me, so that the jury's out on it. But man, I fell in love with this, and I had 4 bowls of it today, so I really like it. And it's called Cavalier. So, and then our friend Iron Mike asked for an Iron Mike blend. And he wanted the Navy Cavendish, but he wanted it juiced. So he wanted a percentage of Latakia added to it. So we're going to take that out of the press right now.
What is that thing?
This is the new presses. These are Razatec presses.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was going to ask the question. Those are noticeably larger rectangular square plugs than I've ever had from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I was trying to do, so cleaning, so I have 60 of the pasta presses, and I think they do a great job. But they're a nightmare. It takes me about 15 minutes per to clean them. You can't put them in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
So you have to hand clean all of them and then sterilize it for the next use. I spent all day Saturday after the interview just cleaning presses. It took to do all 60 of them took me a mountain of time, and it's a pain in the butt. And a friend of the show named Alex said, I was going to do this mold. You should try a mold. And Jay Furman has been wanting me to do plugs forever. So I thought, okay, well, I'll do a plug, and I found this on Amazon and bought one and really liked it, and liked the way
Jay is
everything.
convincing like that.
Well, you know, I tend to take his advice pretty well, because
I love
he's
Jay.
he's created some amazing blends that are in the line, and he and Mike, and I'll tell you, Mike might be the most underrated blender out there. He's created three blends. He's created three blends. So he created Meteora, he created Satanic Panic, and he came out with a new one. They talked about it on their episode that came out yesterday, and it's called Dragon Tears. And I wanted to make sure that Jay and Mike liked it, you know, before I released it. But that's going to be coming here soon. So this is, and these make 2-inch by 4-inch pucks, and they come out of the press looking like this.
Oh.
And this is all Cavendish with a percentage of Latakia and a topping of rum. And it is FM, kids.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm excited about to get this one out to Mike, because he came up with that Cavendish Navy. And when I blended it, I thought, man, 4 Cavendishes, this is going to be, you know, I don't know about this. And I put the rum topping on it, and it came out fantastically. It's just magical. And he goes, okay, I want a new one now. I want it with Latakia too. Well, break my heart. I'll throw some Latakia in that and open it up, and you guys got to watch it come out of the press. And now I'll slice it in half.
I bet that's going to be good too.
Well, we'll get some here in a little bit, Tim. So, but that's Tim has to test stuff with Latakia. I have so Matt from our football league, Kevin, does whenever I make an aromatic, he tests them for me because he really only likes aromatics, and I don't like to smoke them. I just don't. So I send them off to Matt.
Perfect. I love Matt.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Matt has a couple of empires. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I love about this, it takes about 2 minutes to clean out the press because it's cast aluminum. You basically run it under hot water, wipe it off, bring it back to the office, take an alcohol prep wipe, and you're done. And that's kind of magical.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you guys got to watch that one
because
burn.
It's probably just the tray and the pressure plate. Those two things come apart, right?
Yeah. So there's a bottom plate that looks like this, and it's slotted so it won't move. So you can only put the tray in it, and you can kind of see the grooves on the side. So it locks it in place. And then there's the follower, which is probably about 2 pounds of machined aluminum, and it just does really, really well. I'm excited about it. I have 3 of these presses now, and I've got 3 more coming. And I think everything I do going forward is probably going to be in a cake, in a plug form, just because I really like the way it compresses. And I can, because it's a 4,000 PSI, I can get it pressed in a day. I put this in the press last night, and it's ready today, and it's perfect. And right now with the pasta presses, it's 4 to 7 days here in Colorado. So I think that's
Do you
the way
think
I'm going.
that, were you to keep it in the press, I know that, the noodle presses, I've done that before, too, on your recommendations. Do you think that, keeping it in that press for, a week would be a difference?
I don't think so, because once you get to that point of compression, where you've got you're pressing the oils out of the leaf and the flavors are starting to meld, I really don't think, at 4,000 PSI, I don't think leaving it in for 5 days is really going to make all that much different. Because after the initial run, I'm not a little guy, and when I crank down on this thing,
Sure.
This is 4 ounces of tobacco in a 2-inch by 4-inch, not quite half-inch thick plug. I just don't think that I can compress it down any farther.
Sure.
And I don't think it's going to help. So
That's super interesting. Also, I'm just not realizing that I only ever listened to this podcast as a podcast.
Mhm.
I got to start watching the videos
Yeah.
because I'm now realizing that I'm missing a lot.
Well, that's why, I mean, when Tim and I started this, we thought, yeah, we're going to put it on YouTube because we're going to do stuff like this periodically. And it just makes
Yeah.
it more interesting for, we still get more listeners on the podcast, but,
Sure, of course.
yeah, but,
Because that's just so much easier and more digestible
yeah.
format. But yeah,
Yeah, right.
So, but that's, and I can press, once I get to 6, I can press 24 ounces in a day. So, somebody needs a big order, it won't take me any time at all. So, we'll see what happens. But I think that's the direction I'm going. And just because,
that's awesome, Jim.
like I said, I mean, I spend all day Saturday cleaning presses, which just, nobody sees the work that goes into making a blend. I have 20 bowls behind me. You make a blend, you set the bowl off to the side, you get the next 2 bowls, and you after 5-10 blends, now you got to go wash bowls, and you got to clean the presses, and it's that's the unglamorous side of this. And I tried to Tom Sawyer my son into it, but he wasn't having it. So, man, I'm telling you, you don't know how much fun Dad's having doing this. Look at this.
Right.
I've got alcohol.
You're not allowed
wipes.
to, son. Go
Yeah.
away.
Just
Go away.
Just a matter of time.
Exactly. But that's that's what's new on the show. I do have some comments, but we'll read those next week, Tim, because we've already been going on for about 2 hours. So
Yeah. This is a great conversation.
yeah, it was a blast.
I like having
Thanks.
4 people on. It makes it, it broadens the conversation out.
Well,
It
you know,
really
Todd,
does.
you have to show up at every one of these now from now on, Todd.
Book
Yeah.
me. No problem. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. You guys are great, and so
Yes.
Tim, I just shot you a note, so you'll look at that when you get a chance. But yeah,
Okay.
my pleasure.
Yeah. Well, it was a hoot,
That's
guys.
fun.
Thank you so much for joining us. Kevin, as always, continue to make, great pipes and do great work. I absolutely love what you do. Todd, thank you for coming on and being a guest with us. We really enjoyed it, and we'll have to maybe talk about making this a threesome.
Yeah. And,
No,
Yes.
As long
let's
as
see,
there's
big meat, mule dick, or what's your name, Todd?
I can't remember what was it.
Horsebone.
Horsebone.
Sorry.
Horsefoot. And listen, I'm down for anything except no icicles, please.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you guys so much. It's an honor to be on this podcast, and
I'll see you in a couple of weeks, eh? In
Yeah.
you
Tennessee.
guys are absolutely. You guys
Yeah.
are all good.
Yeah.
And Jim will be there too. I'm trying to wish him into, wish
no,
him into
You're gonna
attendance.
write him a doctor's excuse that he can
No.
Yeah,
take to
exactly.
HR.
Yeah.
I am actually in St. Louis until Saturday.
Why?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
See?
Yeah.
There you go. It's just
yeah.
that easy.
Anyway, I will see you,
Hey,
Jim,
Todd,
at a show
it's great to meet you.
at some point.
Likewise, gentlemen. Pleasure all around.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us for episode 28. It depends. And we will see you for episode 29 with Dr. Alan Harrelson. Good night, everybody.
Cheers.
Good night.
Good night.
All right.
All
That was
right,
kind of a
there you
hoot,
go.
huh?
That's a wrap. That was fun.
Is that the
Good
wrap?
time. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well,
Nice.
fuck you all. Just kidding.
Yeah. Foster suck a fat baby's dick. and get off my
Suckers. God damn.
Dude, Jim, for real though, I need to goddamn meet your. I'm gonna, man, you gotta come to a show. I gotta meet you.
I'm desperately working on it. It's just,
I know. I get it. I just, man, I love you. You do so much for this. You do so much for this. You do so much for this community. I loved What the fuck was it even called? The cryptid shit you did with Mike.
Oh, the That's Sort of Weird. I love
That's sort
that
of
show.
weird. I love that show.
I so wanted that to keep going on because I was having a ball, and I thought, well, I'll do a podcast. I'll find somebody that wants to do it with me. No, nobody wants to do it, and I'm like, well, my son's like, well, I'll do it with you, Dad. I'm like,
Like that would be fun for its own reasons, but yeah.
Yep. No,
Mike,
Question.
I gotta give you a hug and give you a weird greasy neck hug. like
Oh,
that.
there you go.
That's how pipe shows work, man.
That's right.
Nice.
And
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple guys that I'm trying to figure out if I know them, follow them, whatever. Who's Mike? Remind me, please.
Iron Mike. I don't know that he's on Instagram, is he?
No,
Wait, Mike.
he's not. He's a Mike.
Mike.
Wait,
Okay.
Mike who?
No gay. Mike No
Mike
Gay.
Nogay.
He's he's a lawyer in Wheeling, West Virginia. Weirton, West Virginia.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know who the fuck you're talking about right now, Mike Wheeling, but I think you're talking about Mike from the.
You're talking about Mike
Pipes.
Murphy from
Mike Murphy.
Two Mikes. Mike Murphy is the other one.
Yeah.
Both pipe
And-
guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and,
Yeah.
and by the way, Mike Murphy, he actually knows tobacco much better. He smokes Sunset Harbor Flake, which, okay, we all have idiosyncrasies, and we all have our own problems, but that's what he likes. But like I said, I've been trying to talk Mike into doing Murphy's blends. It'll be a line in ESF, and Mike, you just tell me what you want to make, and I'll make it, and we'll put it out. So put a bug in his ear if anybody talks to Mike Murphy.
I will. It's the kind of thing, man. That's the thing about the pipe community, man. Like, he's bought a pipe for me, and then now it's like, now we're friends. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's how I got into this. I called. So Thomas, my buddy Thomas, says, "Oh, you need to get in touch with Tim at PapaBear's Pipes." And I'm like, "Okay." So I called Tim up, and we started, kind of this ongoing banter between us. And Tim made me. I saw a pipe that I really liked, and I had him make me a commission. And then I said, "Oh, do you have a website?" And he's like, "No, yeah, I do, but no, not really." And I'm like, "Okay, well." So I just Google searched PapaBear's Pipes, and it's like, "Okay, you need some help with this, and I can do that." And a year and a half later, we're doing a podcast and having a blast. So.
Yeah. That's incredible. That's so incredible.
Yes, it's just this thing here's been a hoot. It's not something that I would naturally do. And when Jim brought it up about, hey, let's do a podcast, I was like, really? And but you get this chance to meet people and have conversations with people that you wouldn't otherwise. Most of the conversation you have with people is by text, and that's it's too low resolution. This is way better.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, honestly, everybody that has an inclination, if you're going to be happy being a pipe maker, you're a fucking recluse. Like, really.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be happy just being literally alone, maybe putting on a headphone, listening to podcasts of people talking about pipes, maybe listening to music, whatever. But, like, you need to be happy just being solitary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
Look, that's a certain type of person just to begin with, like right off the bat.
Right.
yeah. Well,
I agree with you.
Yeah, and half the fun of me is I'm a fanboy. I won't talk about how many pipes I have, but I have more than should be allowed by law, as my wife will frequently point out.
Oh,
but man,
I know a lot of people that own a shitload more pipes than you, Ben.
Maybe.
Well, you've never admitted your number. To be fair,
No, I have not, and it is
not on the air. And now we're like in this weird space where I get to ask you things we would at a pipe show.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah.
There you go.
It'll be at 400 here pretty quick. So.
Oh,
There you go.
I have them. My wife came in the other office the other day, and she's like, "So are you going to start selling pipes?" Fuck no.
Yeah, I
Not
get
for
that
any
question.
reason. Yeah. No, I don't.
Man.
How many is too many? Don't know. Let you know when I get there. But
Exactly.
it's going to be a while. You know, the problem
Yeah.
is you go on Instagram and you flip through in the morning and you see 9 pipes that would look really good. And it's like, okay, well, I can't afford all 9. What am I going to do to afford these pipes? I'll make tobacco. I need, people want, oh, you want to do an interview? Yep, because I know I'll get 10 orders out of it and I can buy more pipes. Life's good. That's how that shit works. At least
Gentlemen?
I know.
I'm going to excuse myself.
All right, Todd. Thank you so much for
It's
joining
Betty
me.
by time.
Hey, Todd.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Todd.
Hey, man. Great to meet you. I'm going to check out your
Dude.
page here
You too, man.
for sure. And
Seriously.
Tim and Jim, love you both. You guys are great. I love your stuff. And that message, Jim, I sent you, I want to know about these blends. I might be interested in one in particular. So when you get a chance to shoot me the details on those, please.
That I will.
Dude.
That I will.
Cheers, guys. Have a great night.
See you.
Cheers, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Bye.
Good to
See
meet
ya.
you, brother.
You too.
Good night.
All right. That was a hoot. Uh-oh. In the
That was
chat.
fun.
It really was.
It was. It was a blast getting to talk to you, Kevin. And, this is, again...
You too, man.
It was a hoot, I think alcohol would have helped me a little bit more, but,
Yeah.
man, Garrett's questions. Can we quantify all the data? No, we can't, but thanks for asking.
No, that's the
I know.
thing, man. That's pipe smoking.
Yeah.
That's pipe sucking. There's no
No.
one answer ever.
No, I mean, what are there, like 11,000 blends at this point? Yeah. Oh, let's quantify those.
Yeah.
No, not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. But, I just, Tim and I wanted this to be very interactive, where we have guests come on and talk about pipe making and talk about blending and getting, that's why we do the contest with MBSD pipes so that people, we want it to be a little more inclusive than what's out there. And I think we're striving in that
Dude,
direction.
you guys crush it. You guys crush it. Seriously.
Well, hey, look, we're just kind of like stumbling through here, and man,
I know, but
We're,
that's the way to go. Because again, like we've talked about so many times, there's no one right answer. You have to stumble your way through. Be open to the fact that you cannot be the guy that's like, this is it.
right?
That
We're anything but that, I can tell you.
Yeah, I know, but that, if there's one thing that will turn everybody off, is being this is the answer,
the expert. Yeah. Right. I agree.
So,
Yeah.
I love it. I truly love your podcast, and I'm honored, really, truly honored that you guys asked me to be on it.
Oh, you're going to be on. You'll get regular flights here.
Oh, you're coming back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can't get out of this.
I hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope so. This is
Once
great.
we get through Easter, and I'm back on the drinking tour, I'm a lot more entertaining when I'm half in the bag.
I was surprised. Wait a minute. So I wasn't going to bring this up, but I went to Catholic high school. I'm not a particularly religious person, but we won't go into all of that. But I lived in Omaha for 2 winters, I will say. And fish fries. Do you guys have fish fries where you're from? Mm-hmm. That's a goddamn drinking festival. That's the only reason I ever went to a fish fry. So you can't,
No. So what I gave up for Lent. So what you have to do is give
Oh,
something.
it's what you
Gave up.
particularly
Right.
gave up
Right.
for Lent. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
My headband is
This
making
is
my
also
head itch.
another. Have you met Nate? Have you like spent time with Nate?
I haven't. I chat with him fairly regularly, but I haven't spent a ton of time with him.
Okay.
By the way, in their latest episode, so once again, Justin was picking on Nate about softy bits.
Yeah.
So I formed the Softy Bits Are Awesome Society, SABAS, SBAAS, and Justin got a sternly written letter on Saturday, and I'm hoping he reads it because I kind of laid into him again. And
Did you?
when I started in my pipe journey, I refinished a ton of estate pipes, and fucking chatter marks just drove me nuts. And I don't particularly, it's like, I have this artisan pipe, and some dickhead bit a hole through the stem, and now I've got to try to rebuild it. Yeah, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
And I have I'm a clencher when I smoke a pipe, and it goes in on the left side, and that canine there will cut. Oh man, Eldritch,
Dude,
personal favorite.
Don't get me wrong. That I so like what people say about pipe makers. Like, yes, I do spend a lot of time making this. Very comfortable, very thin, perfectly done. I don't give a fuck. Once you buy the pipe, it's your pipe. I don't care what you do with it.
Well,
You put it behind the tire of your truck and back over with it. I don't care.
you bought it.
I mean, I kind of do, but like not really. Like, it's your pipe. Put a softy bit on it. It's fine.
I know how hard you guys work at it. I have destroyed several pounds of rods learning that I can't make stems for shit. And it's an art form. And it just makes me feel neglectful if I don't take care of them. You know what I mean? If I don't protect them. So the next person that gets my collection, look, if I die, before that happens, somebody gets a collection, take the damn things off if you don't like them. But they're going to be pristine when you get them.
When you get them. Yep.
Yep. All right. Well,
100%.
My bladder is now full, and it is time for me to depart. So you guys have a great evening.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
I really
good to meet you.
appreciate it. You as well.
And we'll see you in Tennessee, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Talk to
Not
guys
you,
later.
motherfucker.
Not me, fucker. I'm sitting that one out again.
I'm trying to delete my camera. Yep.
Hey, all right. All right,
Yeah.
buddy. See you later.
Yeah.
Good night.